control yourselves, or I'll have to ask you to come over. Happy Tuesday, everyone. So today is April Fool's Day. It's when I tell my writers they're getting a huge bonus. The White House is cutting down a 200-year-old tree that was planted by Andrew Jackson. Spectators were horrified when it turned out to be John Kerry. Accidents will happen. On Sunday night, President Trump deported more gang members to El Salvador, including child rapists and convicted killers. It's all part of a bigger plan to make El Salvador more like Times Square. True, you know. President Trump says he invited longtime critic Bill Maher to the White House as a favor to his buddy, Kid Rock. Kid Rock returned the favor by showering.
Well, not going to get him on.
Yeah, burn that bridge. While at the White House, Trump and Kid Rock announced they're going to fight ticket scalping. Did someone say scalping? Asked one woman. Drew Barrymore says Mr. Clean makes her uncomfortable because he's so sexual. Wow, Mr. Clean makes her horny. You better keep her away from this guy, huh? Pennsylvania town painted curved road lines down a residential street to curb reckless driving, although one driver felt perfectly at home. SpaceX just launched a rocket mission to the North and South Poles. It's being led by Chun Wang, a Chinese billionaire who plans on dropping off a stack of menus.
Oh, racism would say.
It's funny because it's true.
Pete Hegseth has ordered that the standards be the same for both men and women in combat. I know. Meaning men will now have to bring a sweater in case it gets cold. The WNBA is celebrating a Trans Day of Visibility. The transgender community said, great, now no one will see us. And finally, Chipotle is giving away $1 million worth of buy one, get one free burritos. In a related story, Jerry Nadler's dry cleaner committed suicide. All right, filthy.
Love Chipotle.
According to Variety, movie theaters are contemplating letting people smoke pot and text while enjoying a movie. And why is that? Well, these days, theaters are as empty as Kamala's medicine cabinet. True, it's never really recovered from COVID, and the idea of sitting with strangers to watch a movie, well, it seems as foreign as the men I hire to cradle me while I nap. So the theaters are trying everything to get people back in the seats, including reclining seats, alcohol service, fine dining, and now pot smoking and texting. But it is funny that they think weed and texting will bring you back, since those are two things you can also do at home. But there's one thing you can't do at home that they overlook: make better movies. Which is a lot harder than saying, hey, let's attract more rude, smelly potheads. You know, the people a smart industry would try to keep out of their place of business. Seriously, welcoming texting potheads in a theater, that's like a restaurant saying, hey, we don't need a new chef, we need more salmonella. But such remedies are easier than admitting the truth, that the product sucks. Disney will lose hundreds of millions on Snow White because they were more concerned with being woke than being watchable. Plus, it doesn't help that the new Snow White thinks she's Joy Reid with hair. And if this is what Disney did to Snow White, can you imagine if they do yet another reboot of Cinderella? $10, it's Prince Charming who puts on the glass slipper because it matches his transparent thong. Hollywood thinks we're idiots for wanting exciting movies with relatable heroes. So instead, they gave you a musical celebrating a transgender drug dealer. Emilia Perez got 13 Oscar nominations and sold about 13 tickets. But you gotta admit, getting neutered helps you hit the high notes. Movie theaters can throw in all the goodies they want, but it won't help if the movies suck harder than the view on a pork-flavored lollipop. Rather than make movies people want to go see, they offer crap that actually makes the experience worse. And you know what that reminds me of? You guessed it, the Democrat Party. Instead of improving the product, they keep appealing to their worst customers. Even the New York Times admits it. The rag put out a scathing rebuke of the party, saying they're in denial of their 2024 election loss. The Times, of all places, even says they moved too far to the left. Hell, that's like Chris Christie telling you to lay off the donuts. But rather than try to correct their descent into absurdity, they embrace more absurdity. Instead of admitting their colossal error, it's just more fabrications. In this case, they decided that Elon is a Nazi. Okay, but didn't he used to be your hero? You know, it says something that the Dems can expect its mob of supporters to turn on a dime, which they do. So how could the party be so confident the mob would go from adoring the king of climate change to wanting him hanged in the town square? Well, like the film industry, the Democrat Party hold an arrogant disdain for their customers. So much so that it can push stupid ideas and assume their customers will just eat it up. The Democrat mob are no different than bit actors willing to perform whatever script you give them that day. They get paid for the work, and when the clock hits noon, they're gone. It could be a protest against cops, fracking, Musk, it doesn't matter. Just supply the signs and the paycheck, and they'll picket their grandmother for going as Pocahontas for Halloween in 1940. It's so like smoking pot or being allowed to text in a theater. The Democrats' latest moves do nothing to address the unsolvable problem within the party. Their movie is one that no one wants a ticket to, because in this film called Life, they're the villains, and there will be no sequel. Let's welcome tonight's guest. His kids love to send him photos of their mom's new boyfriend, actor, writer, comedian Jamie Lissow. She flies planes and rescues Great Danes. Financial analyst, Hammer Super's like, Of all the smart asses, she wears the best glasses. Host of Kennedy Saves the World podcast, Kennedy. And he's the reason for drawbridges. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former NWA world champion, Tyrus. Jamie, you're an amazing dad, a loving husband, and a talented comedian. April Fools! You're none of those. Why do I do this to you? Do you think pot and texting is going to help the movie industry?
I think it's such a horrible idea, and I think it is a great analogy. That's such a great analogy. The Democratic Party, at no point, they just make excuses. They never take responsibility. That's like the key number one to life in politics, is to take responsibility. Even with my, my ex-wife situation, there are times I can look at myself and go, what could I have done differently? I could have not found out she was sleeping with that guy. Like, that's on me. That is on me.
What role did you play?
You know what I mean? That's something I could have changed. And like the movie theater thing, if you're gonna text and smoke weed at the movie, maybe we didn't want to go to a movie tonight.
Yes.
Like if I was like, hey, let's go mini golfing. It's great. You can bowl during it. Like we would just go bowling. And I also have a problem with, I don't like people chewing. I don't like distractions. And I feel like the more weed there is, the more snacks there's going to be. I was in a movie theater recently, and the movie was called Don't Breathe. It was a horror movie.
Right.
We let you a lot of tension and stuff. Right when it starts, guy next to me sits down with nachos. Swear to God. And I don't normally say stuff, but I go, I can't handle the chewing. And the guy goes, you have a disease. And I go, no, I just can't handle it. He goes, no, it's called misophonia. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
He goes, you're like oversensitive to chewing. And he was like, nah, remember. And I was like, is it possible that nothing is wrong with me and you have eat like an animal's disease? Horrible idea.
Nachos in a movie theater.
Disgusting.
That seems like the thing I do before killing myself.
Right.
You know? Depressing thought, it'll never happen. Heather, is the challenge of the film industry, which you know something about, in the Democratic Party kind of similar?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. You look at CNN and NBC, the latest approval rating, the lowest in history for Democrats, down around 28% right now. So maybe they should be smoking. Perhaps that might help them. And they're blaming inflation. things that they're saying are outside of their control. Well, no, it's an open border policy. It's soft on crime. It's transgender athletes. That doesn't resonate with the majority of the American people. So you have the new DNC chair, Ken Martin. He's saying, no, our messaging is right. No, your messaging is wrong. It's not about connecting your messaging to the people. You have to change your policies. So I think they have a big challenge ahead, and maybe they should go to the movies with Jamie.
His message should be, our message is wrong.
Right, because it didn't work.
Yes, and then everybody go, yes, we agree with you, and then their numbers go up.
Yeah, 100%.
I totally agree with the Democratic message.
Yeah.
I am a genius, Kennedy. How did I come up with that so quickly?
I don't know, but we need to tap your brain for ideas like they do those maple syrup trees in Vermont.
Oh, it gets so sticky all
Yeah.
over your hands.
So gooey.
It's called sap, I believe.
I thought it was just maple syrup.
No, it's originally a
Is
sap.
it maple sap?
Look, we are going off topic here.
Oh, no, that never happens here.
Do you think this pot smoking and texting is a good idea?
No, I'm with you. If I was stuck in a movie theater, that's like a nightmare. That's like one of those nightmares where, you wake up and you're in college and you're taking a full load of classes and
Yes.
it's weeks before finals and you can't drop any of the classes. Like being stuck, I'm all for freedom to put whatever you want in your body, but being stuck in a closed room for 2 hours with a bunch of inconsiderate stoners, that is my worst nightmare. Like, I would want to take a handful of pills at that point. I thought that until I heard they serve nachos in movie theaters.
You know what you made me think, Kennedy, which is people shouldn't, one of the best arguments about not going to college is if you don't go to college, you don't have the missing
have
college
those dreams.
You don't have the dreams that you have of missing college. If you don't go to college, you will never have those nightmares because you can't dream about something you never had. Tyrus. Oh, I have a good question for you, Tyrus.
Oh, here we go.
Usually I just okay, if you could fix the film industry or the Democrat Party, which would you pick and how would you do it?
Well, they're one and the same. So you could...
Trick question.
Yeah, you could fix them both by them getting the activists out. That's the both problems. You have activists in movies and you have activists in the Democratic Party. And the thing is that they don't have a following.
Yeah.
So that's why they're always 80-20. It's always 80% common sense and they're 20% is what they're standing on because they have individuals who are disturbed. And I'm tired of them stealing ideas from other cultures. Listen, we've been smoking weed and texting in movies for generations. Like this is you're not gonna take no one will ever complain about how the brothers are in here. How do you know? Weed and texting and yelling at them. Now we can't identify who the problem is anymore. And when white people take over something we do, they always go too far.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? Another thing is so what if somebody wants to break out a pack of Marlboros at the movie theater because you're smoking? You know what I'm saying? It's a terrible idea. You're so right. I used to love going to the movies. I still go with my son because that's kind of our thing, but my daughter's like, we don't want to go. It used to be you would go to the premiere. Like when a Marvel movie was coming out, you would be there Thursday at midnight. Christmas was everyone went to the movies because why? Because they were awesome movies.
Yes.
And they were good. And none of the stars pissed you off on X for 6 months. You didn't have De Niro running around like an idiot to where any movie he's in now you don't want to watch. They pissed off, in their wokeness, they pissed off the group that buys us. The woke don't buy anything.
No, they're cheap bastards. They don't have jobs.
Us.
And you're like, we don't want you. So,
Yeah. God.
Not to mention, the lines for food is slow enough.
Yeah.
Could you imagine a bunch of high munchies in line?
Yeah.
And the workers are doing the same. Can you, what do you want? I don't know. What do you want? Everything looks so
They would just have to dump food from the ceiling, like big
and then they're
buckets of
paying
food.
with quarters and nickels
Yeah.
and crunched up dollars. Nobody wants that at the movie theater.
God, I miss going to movie premieres as a kid.
It was a cool thing.
Yeah, I remember that. Staying up until midnight when it came. Sophie's Choice.
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah.
I saw
You had a strange childhood, Gutfeld.
All right, we must move on. Up next, a third Trump term.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.